Now, whatever the result of tomorrow night's election, one thing is the candidate's campaign has changed. This year's vote's been described as the first real internet election, with money being raised online, supporters being galvanised by the web, and web videos being used to attack and criticise rivals. Now, I'm joined this evening by Maxwell from the Centre of Policy Studies, who's been researching the way the internet has been used. It is different, really different this time?
It is. Politics at an election is about energising your base and getting your base out. And Obama's used the internet to do that very, very effectively, much more so than John McCain. And I think that's going to make a massive difference to how he actually performs tomorrow night.
Specifically, what has he done?
Well, he's allowed people to get online and energise their own friends and acquaintances and allow them an easy way, away from their own homes, to get their political message out. So rather than having to go into a campaign office and pick up a call sheet, when I was in the States last week, we were looking at people who were just doing it in their own homes, able to do it online, and also they've segmented it so they can do it to people who are like them. So a student will be able to get a call list of fellow students. It makes the calling process much easier for them.
And have they put a lot of planning into this quite sophisticated approach, presumably?
They put a lot of planning in, but it's had the main difference has been speed. They're very, very fast. They have about 300 people in the centre, on the core of a tower block in the middle of Chicago, and these are really the bright and the best. But what they do is they allow the field offices the opportunity to get messages backwards and forwards very, very quickly. And that's why it's so fast.
So I wonder how many people from the UK political fraternity are over there seeing what they're doing.
We met quite a few people over there.
I'm
and
not
there
surprised.
was quite a lot of people who were very, very interested in thinking, well, how could this work in the UK and how could I make this work?
Could it work in the UK?
Well, parts of it could work in the UK. There are certainly components of it that really work. The neighbour-to-neighbour tool on myBarackObama.com really worked. The ability to get a single issue out there works very well. And the rapid rebuttal team they had there was really impressive. A really good example, Michelle Bachmann is a congresswoman in Minnesota, and she went online on a show called Hardball and said, Barack Obama is un-American. They sent that video to his her opponent's campaigners in Minnesota. By the end of the weekend, he had $680,000. That's how fast it works, and that's how effective it is.
Astonishing, isn't it? Now, is it anything to do with internet take-up, or are we, in terms of penetration into homes and the use of broadband, so we're roughly on a par with the Americans?
Well, Americans have slightly more broadband than we do, and broadband access. They're also much more used to giving out personal information online, and that'll be a difference here.
There'll be a cultural change, won't it?
Yeah, that's right. And also, they're not quite so. They're much more upfront at asking people for money than we are. And if you go to any American website, the first thing you see is please contribute. If you go to a British website, just up in the top left-hand corner, it goes, would you mind giving us some money? It's a big difference.
You think we might see them changing in the major parties over here? It's interesting.
I think they would, because I think the question of public funding of political campaigns is really being addressed by this.
Over here,
and I think Obama's shown that you don't need it.
Liam, thank you very much indeed. Liam Maxwell from the Centre of Policy Studies, thank you for being part of the programme. You can comment on that story and see how this programme's shaping up on our blog. Click on the left-hand link on the blog's